Well, hello. Well, I have a little bit of a subjective topic that I want to talk to you today. And a question I have for you is something that you may have never done before that you may want to give it a try. And one of those questions is, it actually pertains to driving a motor vehicle. And the question is, if you traveled overseas, have you ever thought of driving in a different country and thinking that you can only use this as your driver's license from any state in the United States? Well, I have that answer for you. And the answer is, to your question is no. Most places, absolutely not. Now, it does work in Mexico, and it does work in Canada. But other places overseas, the answer is no. And there are certain ways that you could figure out how to drive internationally, and it would not be a problem. If you are wanting to drive overseas, there are some loopholes that you will need to take care of in order to drive, and it's easy to get over the loophole. Now, some countries like Thailand, you can actually obtain a Thai driver's license. And some of the provinces will have its own license bureaus, and you can apply for a driver's license. However, some countries do not allow that process to happen. So what's going to happen here? You will need to obtain this piece of documentation that is called an international driving permit. And how do you obtain an international driving permit? One of the things you can do, and it's very easy to do, and the best place to do it in the United States is to go to an American Automobile Association branch, known as a AAA. So what they do is they hand you out this form, and it's an application form that you fill out. You fill out your full name and information, your home address, indicate where you may be driving, and you will also obtain or actually add your place of birth and the place of your home state and everything, and then they process the application right away. It's very easy to do, and it only takes about 20 minutes to do so. And some of the things you're going to need when you go to the AAA to apply for the international driving permit is you will need a passport photo. Your most recent passport photos, you need about 2 copies of those. And then you do not need one of these. They never asked for it. I asked about it, and they said you don't need a passport to apply. Another thing I also will need to mention to you that is what type of vehicle will we be driving. And I applied for just a motor vehicle, whether it's a 2-door coupe or a 4-door sedan, or anything that does not obtain more than 8 seats in a motor vehicle. And one of the things I will explain to you is, they have the pages of all the stamps. You see the AAA stamp of Arizona, that's where I applied. And you have different languages of everything that they would translate based on what you are permitted to drive. And under English, we have A, B, C, and D, and E. And the first one pertains to motorcycles. If there's a stamp indicating next to the letter A, you are permitted to drive a motorcycle. I have no motorcycle experience, so no motorbike, no motorcycle, none of that. That doesn't apply. This is on the motor vehicles that are seated up to 8, and then this is more of a motor vehicle for transport of goods. That is permissible, that does not exceed over 7,700 pounds. And the motor vehicle is used for transport passengers and compromising in addition to driver's seat, more than 8 seats, and it's more like a commercial vehicle, like a school bus or a tourist van or whatever. And then the categories of B, C, D, authorized from above. So that's pretty much how it works in your application process for the international driver permit. And once you submit that application, then they'll do the reviews and everything, and then they will stamp everything on this particular form. Once everything's approved, then you are underway of driving anywhere outside the United States. Most countries, and if you're in the Asian countries, North Korea and China are not permitted countries to drive in under this particular permit. Now, under this permit, there'll be an expiration date, and mine says January 6th of 2026. It expires on January 5th of 2027. So what happens if you are outside the United States and you still want to drive? Considering the expiration date is looming pretty fast, then you got to work on obtaining that particular permit under a certified mail through the AAA website, and that should help you get through the process. Or if the country that you are in permits you to have a driver's license under that country, then maybe you should apply for a driver's license in a different country. So what I'll probably do, because I have a Thai driver's license that expires in March of 2026, I think I can extend it, and that would be good for me for 2 years, or unless otherwise that may change. So that is pretty much how it works. That's my Thai driver's license, and that is considered pretty much my home Southeast Asia country. It's kind of like my home base. When I want to break from Thailand to go over to other different countries like Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, or Malaysia, Singapore, or South Korea, and the Philippines, and what have you. So that is the explanation of how to get an international driver's license. And once you have this on your hands, you are underway and you are set to drive a motor vehicle internationally. I hope I explained everything properly to you, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me and I will gladly help you out. Thanks for watching.